My name is Margaret, and I'm 72 years old. I've lived long enough to bury my parents, my husband, and most of my friends. But the hardest funeral I ever attended was the one where I had to bury my own faith in my son. I thought I'd raised him right, with love, patience, and every ounce of strength I had left. But love doesn't always come back the way you give it. It was a quiet Sunday morning when I opened my bank account to pay my electricity bill. The screen froze for a second, as if even the system didn't want to show me the truth. Balance, $0. At first, I thought it was a glitch. Then I checked the transactions, and my heart sank. My son, Daniel, had withdrawn everything, every dollar I'd saved over 40 years of work. That money wasn't for luxury or fun. It was my peace fund, for my last days, for my funeral, for the home nurse I might need when I couldn't walk anymore. He didn't call, he didn't text, he just disappeared. A week later, I found out where he went. His wife had posted pictures on Instagram, all smiles in Paris, holding his hand, and standing right next to her mother. 3 of them, laughing, shopping, drinking wine under the Eiffel Tower. I stared at those pictures for a long time, not because I was jealous, but because I realized something painful. I was never part of his family anymore. They replaced me with someone else's mother. I remember whispering to myself, greater than, so this is how a mother gets erased. One trip, one photo, one betrayal at a time. The house felt colder that night. The clock ticked louder. I could hear the emptiness between every sound. I stopped eating properly, stopped sleeping, stopped answering the phone, because every ring reminded me it wasn't Daniel calling. But grief has a strange way of turning into clarity. And mine did. Because a few months later, karma came knocking, and it came politely, wearing a suit. It was the bank manager. He called to confirm a new loan, in my name. Apparently, Daniel was trying to use my identity to get another $50,000. I smiled. Of course, I said softly. I'll come to the bank tomorrow. That night, I didn't cry. I didn't curse him. I simply went through my old drawer, took out the legal documents for my home, and called my lawyer friend. Together, we transferred the property into a living trust, legally owned by me, and locked from Daniel forever. When I went to the bank, I signed the papers they gave me. Not the loan papers Daniel needed, but the ones that made my house mine, untouchable. Daniel never suspected a thing. 2 weeks later, he returned from his trip. He walked into my driveway, sunglasses on, suitcase in hand, as if nothing had happened. But the key didn't fit. He tried again, then again, until I opened the door. Slowly, quietly. He looked confused. Mom, why'd you change the locks? I looked at him for a long time. The boy I raised, the man I no longer recognized. I handed him a small envelope. Inside was a note. Only one line written in my shaky handwriting. Greater than, Paris looked beautiful. I hope the streets are kind when you sleep on them. He stood there speechless. I closed the door, and for the first time in months, I smiled. Not out of revenge, but relief. Because I finally understood, forgiveness isn't always saying, it's okay. Sometimes, forgiveness means walking away before you lose yourself completely. That night, I made myself a cup of tea. The house was silent again, but this time, it wasn't empty. It was peaceful. I looked at the window, saw the reflection of an old woman who had lost everything, yet somehow gained herself back. And I whispered, greater than, maybe peace is the sweetest revenge after all.